Soden, Larson, Adam Muir, Fairley and Billy Moore, the lock forward. And now the Dragons come out, led by their skipper in Mark Coyne, and plenty of St George supporters have made the trip to Bear Park to cheer on St George. Jason Taylor, as we mentioned, 899 points in first grade for that man. And St George's lineup: Dean Raper, the fullback, Lee Murphy, Daniel Wagon, the wings, Mark Coyne, Jamie Ainscough, the centres, the halves of Mundine and Rodwell, the forward pack: Pearson, Brown, Ward, Tracy, Thompson and Jeff Hardy. Two very good lineups, Phil Gould.
Yeah, and it'll be a great game of football, I believe. I don't think it'll be anything like the scorelines we've seen in previous years between these two sides. St George are the sort of team, when they're playing well, the things that they do well do trouble the Bears. They've just got to get a little bit of confidence early and get themselves into the game.
Referee today is Mr. Paul Simpkins. And Ainscough it is, gets proceedings underway. Down for Aiken and Muir with the first hit up of the game. Big switch of clubs for Adam Muir from Newcastle to North Sydney. His first game wasn't one of his best, but he was back to his dynamic best form last week against the Sydney City Roosters. Taylor wanting to get on with the jobs. That is a very good distance gainer. Mario Fenech joins us on the sideline.
Yeah, conditions on the sideline very good for rugby league. North Sydney out of the blocks very quickly. They gained a lot of confidence from their great win last week over the Roosters. Watch for this bloke to make an impact today. David Fairley, spoke to him before the game. I think North Sydney might be too strong on Bear Park.
Taylor. Short ball on the outside. Forimo brought down just 10 metres out. Sears. Taylor. Long ball for Aiken. Aiken uses the acceleration. Muir pops it over the top. Try time already for the Bears. Nigel Roy on the left wing goes over. 4 points to 0. The Bears off to a dream start.
They've certainly come out of the blocks running. First tackle of the game, they received a penalty, and in 3 plays they've fanned the ball out to left. Ben Aiken able to get in behind Brown there in the defence line. Muir over the top to Butner. Selective pass out to Nigel Roy, who'll stand up and salute the people in the Molly Dive stand. They're his biggest fans. But here you see the long ball from Taylor. Aiken, good change of pace in behind the line, a one-arm pass. Muir with the ability to keep the ball alive, and Butner very sensibly just put the ball on to Roy on the wing. And a very, very quick start by the Bears.
Taylor the long ball, and Aiken used his acceleration. Nathan Brown came up out of the line very quickly. Aiken got behind him, and Muir so strong, and Butner quick hands, and Nigel Roy over in the corner. And the sort of start Coach Peter Louis was hoping for, and David Waite was cursing.
Well, they got the penalty. The most positive thing about it was as soon as they got the penalty, Jason Taylor called for the ball and banged it out over the sideline. No committee meeting, no slow start to the game. They got on the foot, right front foot straight away. And 3 plays later, they've stretched the ball across the field into the corner. And Jason Taylor with a wonderful record here at North Sydney Oval, kicking right into the teeth of a northeaster.
Hooking back, Taylor just short, waved away.
Yeah, a little bit of breeze in his face there. That was a difficult kick under those conditions. He didn't miss it for accuracy. It was just into the breeze.
4 points to 0 the scoreline. Mario Fenech, hardly a chance to breathe.
Normally players use the first couple of minutes just to warm themselves up, but North Sydney certainly didn't have that in mind. Quick start out of the blocks, as we said earlier. North Sydney are in that attacking mood today, and this next set of 6 for St George is going to be crucial.
Again, down for Aiken. Muir involved again. A replay of the kickoff.
An early try like that can be good and bad for you, depending on your attitude. I mean, the Bears are expected to win today. They've raced to a 4-point lead after a couple of minutes now. If the attitude is that this is going to be a little bit easy for them, then St George will be stung by that. They've just got to concentrate and start again.
Brown involved in that tackle with Corey Pearson. Fairly upended 30 metres out from his own try line. Soden back for Adam Muir. He's been heavily involved so far. His 4th hit up of the game. To Aiken on the short side. The right boot. The kick is out on the full, and that nor'easter may be a touch stronger, Mario Fenech, than anticipated.
Actually, the breeze is gusting, but I don't see the breeze as being too much of a problem. It's going across the field. An unusual mistake there from Ben Ikin, and Coach Peterloo won't be happy with that. Gives St George a great opportunity now, some 35 or 40 metres out. Here comes Colin Ward.
Colin Ward from the Rooster and also from the Gold Coast. Rodwell, nice cutout ball. Ainscough on the far side. Brought down just 15 metres out from the try line. Corey Pearson already has 1 try for the season. Great tackle there by David Fairley. Brown picks up Mundine. Thompson on the inside, a decoy. Coyne taken well by the try scorer, Nigel Roy. Last tackle now for St George. Hardy back for Brown. The cross kick is a good one. The chase is on. They've come up with the reply. Great take on the left-hand side. And St George have now levelled at 4 points apiece.
Well, that breeze from the other side of the ground has really played havoc in these first few minutes for the Bears. It stopped a conversion from Jason Taylor. It blew a clearing kick from Ben Ikin over the sideline on the full. And this has just held it up in the air for ages for the St George player wagon to get through there. I think the North Sydney winger was really hoping this ball would get down quick so he could get a handle on it, but he was sitting in duck there for the player on the fly. And St George, a great reply in their first set of 6 with the ball after an ordinary start.
It was Wade Horder standing underneath. He got off the ground, no doubt about that. But Wagon, with the momentum, just came over the top. So Wagon picks up the try. He was born in Brisbane, just 21 years of age.
It was an interesting set of 6 there from St George. They really fanned the ball across the field to the left, brought it back to the middle, back to the right, stretching this North Sydney defence. And that is one of the things that they do very well. They do kick and chase very well. I can remember them tormenting North Sydney in a semi-final a couple of years ago and ran up a big score with them based on kicks. And that'll be a confidence booster to them after North Sydney hit up with a try early in the game.
Lee Murphy, the conversion, waved away, 4 points apiece. And of course, with Wayne Bartram missing for St George through suspension, Lee Murphy appears to be doing the kicking for St George. 4 points apiece. And just the reply they were looking for, Mario. So now Taylor with the restart. It could be in for a high-scoring affair. Less than 7 minutes gone and already 2 tries. That's down for Raper. And now Pearson. 15 out from his own line. Lance Thompson steps off the left boot, straight into the shoulder there of Larson. Brown finds Mundine, in fact, cuts him out for Colin Ward. Brown, Thompson takes it to the line. Jeff Hardy just short of the halfway line. Final tackle now for St George. 4 points all. Mundine to the right boot. Kicks the ball away from Matt Sears. Sears, one of the best kick returners in the game. Looks to try and link up with Horder. Takes them on. The chase was very good.
Yeah, very sensible kick there from Mundine too. He saw Ben Ikin fooled by the breeze and he kept that ball well in field, just making sure that St George took up some good field position. And they're really going to have to chase well today because Matt Sears is one of the best ball returners in the game.
Larson popped a great ball out the back. Taylor, the dummy. Now the inside ball for Billy Moore. And Norths are looking quite sharp. Butner uses his pace out of dummy half.
Yeah, the Bears are best when they do move the ball around. They really are an attractive attacking football team, and you can tell they're confident when they're throwing the ball around this early in the game.
Oh, Florimo, loose ball. Wade Horder just overrunning that pass. Final tackle again. Will go back for Taylor. Taylor keeps the ball low. That breeze quite strong. Dean Raper, played in the 96 grand final, comes out. Tackle, that's the 10-metre line. Mundine. Can't get by Gary Larson. Adam Muir. And also Trindle makes the tackle. Lance Thompson, his work rate always high. Darren Tracy, former Newcastle Knight, held down by Florimo, and Florimo's given away the penalty.
Yeah, Darren Tracy here, very strong player and wins a lot of penalties in the play the ball. He's the sort of player who's able to draw a penalty from the opposition because he's always pushing away at you and niggling. You see how strong he is there. Florimo trying to keep him off the ground so he can't get his play the ball started. Darren Tracy actually put the ball down on the ground there before he actually got up to try and play the ball, which is illegal, but Florimo was too active.
Harding on the burst. They're in the attacking half now. Brown. Lance Thompson back on the inside. Gets away from Larson, no mean feat. Brown. Rodwell, short ball, maybe a touch forward. Tracy goes to ground, 22 metres out. Colin Ward again. Can hear the call. Rodwell, Mundine. Ball's coined back on the inside, set play for Thompson. Final tackle now, where's Mundine? Brown, he'll go high again. This time, I think Wagon was offside, was he? He's got the ball down, Florimo was there. Simpkins awards the try.
Yeah, the linesman there gave a very clear indication that the player was onside before he caught the ball. And again, this is George's ability to kick and catch under pressure. Mundine goes out here, draws the defence onto Brown. The kicker responsible for the first try. And here, Wade Horder again. Really hasn't done a lot wrong, but you've got to understand the advantages with the team in possession in this case. The defending player is back there, standing still, trying to get up off the ground from a standing position, where Wagon is coming forward, has more momentum, able to get a little higher, and he's able to grab both those out of the air. And St George with fairly constructive sets of 6, but the important thing is they're finishing it off with very good attacking kick options.
2 tries for that man, Daniel Wagon. 4 tries for the season.
And just back to that start for the Bears, I said that sometimes scoring the first try so quickly can have a negative effect on your thinking and on your football. They've come up, St George now with a good hit back. It certainly spurred them on. Would have been an immediate reminder to them of what's gone in past years here at North Sydney Oval with big score lines. And the Bears, probably can be excused for a little bit of thinking, well, we're off to a good start. Let's keep throwing the ball around and maybe we can hurt them again.
Lee Murphy. Tough conversion. He's 20 years of age, local junior for St George. Strikes this one, plenty of power, but waved away. And now St George in front by 8 points to 4, Mario.
Yeah, it's a nice kick there by Brown, pinpoint accurate, and Wade Horder's having nightmares. Wagon up in the air, try time. I don't know, Phil Gill made the comment earlier that North Sydney there might be a negative effect, but they are sitting back, Gus, and St George seem to have the running.
I think it's just an immediate impetus for St George. A try against you in the first minute can spur you on, and it can take a little bit of the intensity out of the team that comes up with those early points, and that's certainly the case here. St George have responded to the challenge.
3 tries in the first 12 minutes. Mark Coyne.
I think they're going to have to keep scoring tries, though, St George. I can't see them winning this on goal kicking, judging by what we've seen earlier in the game.
Lance Thompson. Brown, inside ball for Ward. Good Brown by Colin Ward. Now Corey Pearson, his fellow prop, fairly over the top. Back to the boot of Rodwell. And it sit up for Sears, it does. Has Nigel Roy back with him, but the chase is once again up to the task.
Be interesting to see now whether North Sydney come back as positively as what they've started the game. They've really been keen to move the ball around, but we can see now you can throw a handkerchief over them behind the play. Nothing much happening here other than a few dummy half runs, I would suspect. Wade Horder's come from the far wing. He'll run from dummy half. So a little bit of the confidence gone out of the Bears now. They're behind on the scoreboard.
Picking up some 20 metres with those 2 dummy half runs. Trindle, Billy Moore, Loose ball again. Nigel Roy, nowhere to go. Can't get away from Lee Murphy.
And you can see the St George players very keen now. They've got a little bit of a sniff. They've got the incentive here to go on with this.
Taylor. Raper played at it, touched it. Aiken up on him very quickly. And picks up the double try scorer so far this afternoon, and Daniel Wagon. Thompson again. Tackle so far, the Bears, 38-32. Luke Felch, nice player to have coming off the bench. They like working the short side, St George. Long ball for Mundine. The right boot again. This time, Sears. Mundine gets the good bounce. And they are very keen, the Dragons. Mundine makes the tackle himself.
Yeah, all their kicks have been chased well. You've got to do that against the Bears. They've come up with 2 tries and they've gained good ground on Sears every time he's had to bring the ball back.
Larson, who scored that 30-metre try against the Roosters last week. Fairly.
There's no doubt that the Bears have reined themselves in here. Certainly playing a different style of football to what they started this game.
Adam Muir. Back for Taylor. Right boot kick. Put some pressure on Lee Murphy. Buettner's there. A long pass for Raper. Chancing the arm. Loose ball from Raper. It went forward. In fact, referee Simpkins says it went backwards. And they'll get another 6, Mario.
Yeah, there's the replay there. Yeah, they appeared to go back for mine. Nathan Brown's playing very well. There he is there. Very elusive. St George are a different side. This bloke Ainscough.
Here goes Ainscough stepping back off the left boot. Mundine now and some broken play. Larson eventually comes at him along with Trindle. Ainscough again from dummy half. Thompson knock on. Forward.
Yeah, that was disappointing for Lance Thompson there. St George were really on a roll. Ainscough had done terrific work down the left-hand side of the field. And you'll see Lance Thompson here just to peek the look over his shoulder at Billy Moore. Probably looking to think, I'm going to have to pass quickly here, and didn't concentrate on the first job, which was catching the football. Even the professional players will come up with that little error now and then. But they had nice momentum there, St George, and it just broke down for them.
Taylor finds Aiken. Ben Aiken, who received that badly caught knee last week against the Roosters. Soden picks out Billy Moore. Back now for Taylor. Wants to stretch the Dragons for Buettner. Possesses that dazzling step off the left boot. Fairly. Well wrapped up by Mark Coyne over the top and Lee Murphy. Aiken to Taylor. Has the runners to Larson. Thought it might have been a touch forward. Final tackle. Taylor, short kick for Sears. Well read by Nathan Brown.
Yeah, beautifully read by Nathan Brown, and you can put that down to the coach's notes. He would have told them that every time you see Sears around Aiken or Taylor, he'll be looking for a little chip kick. He just gets up in behind him and says, put one through for me, and Brown read that beautifully.
Coyne away from dummy half, picks up 10 metres. Sloppy play the ball. Luke Felch. Short of the halfway line. Tracy. Brown, the left boot, out of dummy half. Porter let this ball go dead, very narrow in goals here at North Sydney Oval.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that breeze has really swung around more from the north. It seems to be favouring St George. Mario might be able to help us there, so any lead that they can get at half-time, or even the score's close, North Sydney, they're going to have a tremendous advantage in the second half.
Soden, good hands. Finds Michael Buettner. Good charge there by Josh Stewart. Trindle off the park. Taylor. Billy Moore. There goes Sears. Away from dummy half. Looking to link up with Taylor. Now Icon. Flicked out the back. Enterprising play, but the ball went forward off Billy Moore. The Raper. Wagon already has 2 tries. Mario Fenech could play the balls.
Yeah, well, that's exactly the thing that they didn't need, North Sydney, is speculate a pass like that. What they've got to cope with now is St George are playing the ball much quicker than North Sydney, which gives players like Nathan Brown and Mundine options. There's a young fella there going forward. St George well and truly on top. North Sydney need to slow that, play the ball down.
Luke Felch gains another 10 metres. Mundine goes back, picks it up, looking to step, but crunched, and a great tackle by Fairley. Coyne, a lot of room out there. Tackled over the top by Taylor. Final tackle now. Will they go to Horder's wing? In fact, they'll run the ball. Rodwell. Quick hands by Raper, knock on Wagon.
Well, that was the second option from St George. They had Wade Horder sitting back there very nervous for the bomb. And of course that makes the defence line a little shorter. They decided that time to run it. They created space but couldn't get a handle on the ball over the edge.
And here it's 2-1. Stewart goes to the right-hand side for Billy Moore. Thompson and Felch. In fact, Tracy. Larson making away from the tackle of Brown. The Bears have been doing most of the defensive work so far. Taylor. Muir. Good ball for Buettner. Now back for Nigel Roy, who scored the opening try in the second minute of play. Through the hands, Taylor. Kicks, well taken by Wagon. Is he having a good game?
Well, he's caught 3 kicks, 2 for tries, and this is a Mark Taylor effort. This one, a diving catch to his right-hand side. He couldn't catch the ball they passed to him, but the kicks have been absolutely no problem.
Ainscoe, Lance Thompson, Mundine. Well taken by Ben Icon, and the replacements are coming thick and fast, Mario.
Yeah, there's Tony Hearn there, a former North Sydney player. Might be a bit of feeling out there for Tony. He's just come back from a shoulder reconstruction. A good player. As we see Thompson making yards. North Sydney need to cut those yards down.
Final tackle again. Coyne over the head of Matt Sears. And this has turned out to be a good kick. The Dragons there in numbers. Felch, the first man. Darren Tracy, the second. And they appeal for the penalty, and referee Simpkins helped them out.
Yeah, that'll be disappointing for St George. They really had North Sydney under some pressure there. As Mario Fenech has said, they've gone forward well, they've controlled the ball, they've chased their kicks. And these are the things that can really play on North Sydney's mind. They've got a little breather here with a penalty coming out of trouble.
Weber.
North Sydney got great service from their bench last week, and Josh Stewart and Reba have already impacted on this game. Here's Willie Lation off the bench as well, so Peter Louie hasn't wasted time in getting these players on the field.
They stack the short side. Billy Moore couldn't pick up a runner. Buettner on the inside, Nigel Roy the outside. Accidental boot in the face there. Taylor takes it to the line. Icon finds Florimo at right centre. Horder back on the inside for Taylor. Final tackle now. Will they use the high ball? Icon, they'll run it. And Muir's knocked it on.
Well, everyone in the North Sydney side on the left-hand side of the field here was waiting for the kick. That's why they were so shallow. Adam Muir had to pull up and wait for that pass. He was ready for Icon to put the one over the top. And a promising set fizzles out again for North Sydney. Guilty of mistakes, and St George will work the ball away again.
Rodwell Dean giving him some latitude.
No, it's only the first half here, but you get the feeling the way this game has gone in the first 25 minutes that both sides are very nervous about the next scorer. I think they feel if the opposition team were to put one on them now, that could set the trend for the rest of the game. Both sides very cautious at the moment.
Rodwell over the head again of Matt Sears. That breeze is no doubt favouring St George, and that's the result Matt Sears was hoping for. It'll come back to the 20. Three tries already in this game. 8 points to 4, Mario Fennick.
Yeah, St George on top, you'd have to say that, but let's not forget St George are in front by 4. North Sydney have got a great goal kicker in Taylor, and I wouldn't be slashing my wrists yet if I was a North fan. I'm sure Coach Peterloo at half-time will straighten them up.
Long way to go. Stewart. Willie Lation, who has some very big raps on him at North Sydney. Florimo to Larson.
Ben Ikin has left the field for North Sydney. I don't know whether he succumbed to that injury. Scott Petherbridge on the field, meaning a reshuffle in the North Sydney side. Interesting to see whether or not Ikin will be ready to come out at some later stage in the game.
Taylor plays it back. Kick for Reba. Reba is very quick, racing through. Pressure on Raper. Raper forced to clean up.
Well, this is why they make the football the shape that it is. It is very unpredictable. A nice little run over the top here by Reba. Now, Raper's got plenty of time, but a football can do terrible things. A terrible bounce there, another terrible bounce there. Whoops, I'll get it out the back. So what looked like a pretty standard play became a little bit nervous for the St George fullback. And in the end, North Sydney are going to get the benefit of a line dropout and another set of 6 possession.
Could be a very lonely place, the fullback position. And Dean Raper, just 21 years of age, he found out just how lonely it can be.
Well, you thunder away in the front row or in the forwards, you can make 4 or 5 mistakes a game and no one notices. Everyone notices if the fullback makes one.
Nation, that's the 30-metre line. David Fairley looking to pop that ball out the back. Reba is there. Larson looking for his second try for the season is Gary Larson.
You've noticed with the North Sydney side that when Reba is on the field, all the forwards are quite prepared to throw the ball out the back, even on the ground, to keep it alive because he's so sharp.
Nice back line movement there by the Bears. Sears joining in on Taylor. Now Roy back on the inside for Petherbridge.
Yeah, the referee had them all the way.
You have a look at me.
A good quick play the ball there by Matt Sears. Drew the defence up on the short side, and North Sydney went straight to it. You can see here they're all miles offside. Double marker there. Mark Coyne and Mundine. All well within the 10 metres there.
Taking the quick tap. Going for the 6 points. Lation. Pops it out the back. It should be 6 to go. It is. Taylor. The Butner. Fairley's a dummy half. Behind Taylor the pass. Sears. For Reba. Now Lation again.
You see the Bears are just keen to get the ball back out the back to Reba, aren't they? He's very, very sharp around that area.
That ball went forward. And St George have been given the penalty. The ball must be played backwards with the heel.
Yeah, this is a little unfortunate. He has played the ball forward there. He was entitled to put his foot on it and play it back. Now, my understanding is that should be a scrum. I'll be interested to see what Mick Stone says about this later in the week. We discussed this, the fact that the ball can no longer be played forward in the play of the ball. Those accidental ones where it's come off his foot and gone forward, he should have pulled that back as quickly as he can. But my understanding is that should be a scrum rather than a penalty to the St George side.
You could feel the pressure just come off the shoulders there of St George. They were weathering the storm.
Well, they've had 3 sets of 6 at them in a row. They've got to respond now. They're in front on the scoreboard. They've got a nice breeze at their back. I don't think they'll muck around too long with the ball down their own end. They're out around about that 40 where they can put some pressure on now here with a good kick.
Tracy plays it back. Mundine has runners. Tony Hearn. Mundine wants to go from dummy half. Simpson. And there's been a lost ball in that ruck, and Nigel Roy comes up with it. Petherbridge.
I think the referees ruled that was a fair steal, one-on-one tackle.
Hold.
Could be a blood bin here, Mario Fenech, is that right?
Yeah, Jason Taylor has gone into a tackle and collected the knee of the St George player Simpson, Robbie Simpson. Unusual to see Jason Taylor, very tough little man. He appears to be stunned there, and I can tell you what, they can ill afford to lose a player of his leadership. But a lot of North Sydney's plays revolve around him.
His 100th premiership game for the Bears today.
He's played 100 consecutive games. I mean, I don't think I know who to play halfback if he wasn't out there, Jason Taylor.
Exactly. And he just makes his way back into the attacking line now. He's going to take his time, though. Muir. 25 metres out. Now Taylor's on the right-hand side. Oh! Went backwards. Florimo. Maybe still a touch groggy. Touch to the line, the little chip. Sears is there. Steps off the left boot. Can't get away from Murphy. Flings it out the back. Buettner had a chance of getting it on the run. They've come up with it again, double knock on.
Saints feed, Saints feed. Saints feed.
He's going with the St George feed here. He's ruled that North Sydney will knock the ball on first. Now, I'd have to assume on the last tackle that would have been a turnover, whether or not a St George player has touched the ball here at some stage. The ball thrown out in desperation by Sears. There's a little bit of a scramble here. There's no doubt the North Sydney players knocked this on first, so I would have had to say that was a turnover rather than a double knock on. That was the last play.
Taylor comes to the sideline, Mario Fenech. Jason Taylor leads the field. Dean. It's up Wagon, who's come across from the left wing to do some work on the right-hand side of the field.
Just looking at the North Sydney lineup, it looks as though Ben Ikin has gone onto the field to play halfback. He's in the behind the defensive line where Taylor would normally defend.
Ainscough just short of the halfway line.
Mark Soden was a lower grade halfback at this club for many, many years, reverting to play hooker. They've got Mark Reaver out there as a hooker. I would have thought probably Mark Soden was the man for the job, but no doubt Ben Ikin is the one his coach feels can get it done here today.
Brown picks up Mundine. Steps around Lation. Out the back. Sloppy play by the Dragons. Knock on, Mario.
Yeah, I spoke to Jason Taylor briefly as he walked past. He's received a head knock. He's slightly dazed. Unusual to see Jason Taylor off the field. Very tough little man. And that's a bonus for St George because North Sydney, as Gus Gould said earlier, they don't know who to put at halfback. Jason Taylor has been an institution at North Sydney since he arrived in 1994.
You're right, Mark Soden was the halfback when Taylor came to the club.
You'd have to assume with Reaver on the field doing a good job at hooker that Mark Soden would feel more comfortable. Ben Ikin was very nervous about putting that ball in the scrum. You won't want to come up with one against the head because your halfback's not confident about feeding the ball. See Mark Soden coming to the sideline now. It'll be interesting to see who he replaces.
Josh Stewart. Reaver. Ikin. Halfway through the gap. Stewart survives a crunching tackle by Luke Felch. And again, Tracy comes up with a good hit. Lation. Ikin. Muir. Good ball from Muir for Matt Sears. Reaver now. Nigel Roy. Petherbridge. Petherbridge on the left wing. High ball from Ikin. This will hold up in the breeze. Buettner chases, takes it, loses it forward.
That'll be the last tackle, that'll be a turnover.
That's it.
Good pressure again there from North Sydney, but the St George defence is really lining up well. I mean, even though North Sydney are moving the ball and getting a lot of second phase play, St George are responding defensively.
Two men in the tackle, and stripping is the call from referee Simpkins.
Yeah, referee Simpkins has called out there was a hand in there, as we see Murphy comes across the field. I don't know. Well, at the initial impact, there was only a one-on-one. I know the second North Sydney play came in, but I think the St George player had lost that ball prior to the second player coming in. It's an unfortunate penalty there for St George. A turnover there could have been costly. They'll get the chance now to kick it out. Haven't done any attacking for a while, St George, and they've made it worse by not finding touch from the penalty.
Bad mistake there by St George. Petherbridge. Straight through. They eventually get him. Jeff Hardy takes him to ground. Fairly now. The home crowd get behind the Bears. They trail by 8 points to 4. St George in front. Eichen. Muir. Looking for the man off his shoulder. Matt Sears. They have numbers to the right-hand side. Fairly. The dummy for Florimo. Stewart. Taylor at second receiver. Butte into Taylor. The kick. Right hold up in the in goal. No.
Good pressure there from Nathan Brown. Jason Taylor, obviously the selected kicker for North Sydney. He raced up quickly there and put a little bit of pressure on Taylor. Taylor had to rush his kick. Here's Scotty Petherbridge, son of the former great Gary Petherbridge. He's got great speed there. Good run from Petherbridge. Here we see Nathan Brown now. Races quickly up on Jason Taylor. Rushes it. Didn't get the chance to kick with his right foot. Had to left foot it into the in goal. Not quite as accurate. And a let off for St George.
Mundine has been heavily involved. St George in front by 8 points to 4. A vital 5 minutes now before the half-time break. Missed tackles. Even Stevens. 11 apiece. Brown.
As I said previously, I mean, there were 3 tries in the first 10 minutes of this game. And both sides have really got very nervous since that time. I guess they get the feeling that whoever gets the next try will pick up the initiative for the rest of the game. So both sides making each other work very, very hard for the next 4-pointer.
Tracy accelerated, then was well picked up by Ainscough. Brown drops it on the boot. There goes Mundine. He's overrun it. He got the bad bounce. A certain try goes begging, but only because of the shape of the ball.
Well, you can't believe that, can you? Nicely weighted kick from Nathan Brown. He comes through. He knows he's got defenders between he and his teammate. Gets the ball there. Bounce, bounce. Get up in my hands. Get up in my hands. No, not today.
Jason Taylor comes away with it. But really, superb play there from Nathan Brown, who showed all the skills.
See here, North Sydney a knock on in the play the ball there. Ruled against the Bears. Gives St George a terrific hacking opportunity. Centre field, 20 metres out from the line. Will look for Mundine.
Rodwell picks up Mundine. Off the right boot twice. 3 times. Can't get around the 4th man. Soden came out. Brown to the line. Inside ball for Colin Ward. Just 3 metres out. Rodwell. Wants to get involved. Has it now. Short ball for Pearson. Out the back for Wagon. Already has 2 tries. To Brown. Cuts out Mundine for Lance Thompson. Nigel Roy was up quickly on Thompson. Nice tackle. Brown. The Hoarders wing again. Wagon. Flew high. The ball is still alive. Pearson flings it out the back. Raper kicks again. Over the dead ball line, and they survived the pressure, the Bears.
Yeah, excellent scrambling by the Bears, but they certainly have a problem under the high ball. St George have put 3 bombs up today and virtually came down with all of them. There's Jason Taylor showing the effects of the battle today. Raper really had no option to try and put the foot to the ball and get it back in play, but kicked it dead. Good scrambling there by North Sydney.
2 minutes before the break. Mario, crucial minutes.
Well, when Brown went through and they put the perfect kick through, I tell you what, Mundine should have scored that try. He sort of waited for the ball to pop up. A player of his calibre should be grabbing those that football and scoring that try. Led off for North Sydney, and I'm sure David Waite wouldn't be happy.
Moore, Taylor, Aiken standing wide, run around with Taylor, kicking early in the tackle count. Taylor does the chasing. And can he make the tackle on Wagon? In fact, Raper. Waramo gets him eventually.
A minute and a half left on the clock here in the first half. Neither side will want to do anything silly.
Thompson. So they should get another set of 6 for Bears. Tracy has been in good form for the Dragons. Pearson and Muir picked him out early. Final tackle now. Looking for a deep kick. Back for Rodwell. And this could be out on the full. In fact, it bounces well for the Dragons. Well placed from Rodwell.
And this is a 40-20. Now, if the clock doesn't run down too quick, St George are going to get the feed here, I believe. Waiting for the referee signal, yes. St George have got the feed here. There's only 30 seconds left on the clock. North Sydney dawdling back into position. They don't want this scrum to pack. St George will be desperate. They're down there ready. Rodwell's got the ball. The front row's formed up. North Sydney aren't even trying to get back on side.
They'll hurry or they'll suffer a penalty.
There's real time off. They're going to get a shot at them here. Watch for Mundine across the field with Mark Coyne.
Time back on. 10 seconds left. One play. Coyne. 15 seconds. Ainscough stepping off the left boot. Raper. Colin Ward knows only one way. And the siren sounds the end of the first 40 minutes. And the scoreline, 8 points to 4. We've seen 3 tries.
There we have it, all in the first 10 minutes of the game. I think both coaches wouldn't be happy, but they'd be satisfied with the scoreline at half-time. It could have been better for both sides. It could have been a lot worse. 8-4 at half-time. I think that'll do.
And the promise of a second 40 minutes, well worth watching coming up. 8 points to 4, the scoreline from Bear Park. Tough customer, playing his 100th consecutive game for the Bears. And now St George. Raper, who's had his share of troubles in the fullback position. Mundine so close to scoring a try, only minutes short of the half-time break. Tracy and Lance Thompson. And it's St George who lead by 8 points to 4. Mundine has been heavily involved so far in this game. And that will continue in the second 40 minutes. Good crowd here at North Sydney Oval. And the referee, Paul Simpkins, just about to get proceedings underway for the second half. Time on for the second 40 minutes. Short kick off by the Bears. Thompson straight into the action. Never takes him very long, Mario Fennick, to get involved. What happened in the rooms at halftime?
Yeah, in the North Sydney dressing room, Coach Peter Louis very disappointed. He said we had a good start. We just sat back thinking the game was just going to happen. He said it doesn't work that way. He said we've got to get back to our style of football. He said control the football and make no mistakes. He also made a point to the outside backs to support young Wade Horder, who's certainly come under a barrage on the wing there. He said he's very confident that if they can control the football at the back end of this game, they'll be in a position to win it. So Coach David Waite praised St George for the way they recovered from that early setback. He wants to see Mundine and Brown with the football as much as they can. He believes that North's look a bit dodgy on the edge of the ruck.
Great chance now for the Bears to attack. An early mistake in the second half by St George. Larson. Driven back in that tackle by Ward, Brown and Hardy. Slow play the ball. They're up inside the 10, St George. Taylor, Fairley. Inside ball, well taken in the end by Butner, who lost it. Now the Dragons come away. Pearson keeps the ball alive now on the far side. Brunker, the former Origin winger for Queensland. Back for Ainscough to Brown. Mundine had to stop and take that ball. Jeff Hardy, 13 on 13. They go the short side. Thompson runs into Fairley. And Dean, the Ward. Taylor over the top. Wagon loses the ball forward. Kept on the toe by Tracy. He realised that the ball went forward from Wagon.
I'm dead here now.
Yeah, it's a good lesson for any footballer here. North Sydney will infringe here with the knock on. And Darren Tracy coming through, instead of recovering the ball for his team, kicked it. Now it's gone back out of the dead ball line, so a further advantage goes to North Sydney in a 20-metre start rather than having to put the ball in the scrum. If you lose the ball in possession, fall down on it, don't go kicking it into the crowd, because the referee penalises you for that.
Fairley, 8 points to 4. Larson up the short side, looking to offload, couldn't find anyone. Hardy made another tackle. Billy Moore off the right boot. It's up over the halfway line now.
We've had 3 sets of 6 in this half, and they've all ended with drop balls. 2 to St George and 1 to North Sydney. Now we see the ball on the ground again here. Very nervous start from both sides.
Taylor, Aiken for Matt Sears. Back for Aiken again. Florimo, Petherbridge, Aiken, and what's he doing? Threw the ball straight back for Wagon. 3 speculators in the one movement there by Ben Aiken.
Well, that was a passing competition. They were going nowhere, but just kept popping it out the back. In the end, Aiken was going to run out over the sideline, threw it inside to a St George player. And now we've had 4 sets of 6, all ending in turnovers.
Tracy, didn't really expect that ball from Wagon. Wagon gets it back. Can't get the arms free. So now we've got Tracy at dummy half. Mundine at first receiver. Pearson. Was there a little knock on from Hardy? No. Good hands. Brown will get it. In fact, it goes to Mundine. Now back for Brown. Eventually he gets it. Wagon loses the ball, second time in this half. Florimo off the left boot. So neither side completing their sets of 6 in the second half so far.
Yeah, we just heard a call from the North Sydney players. They'll have a dummy half running set here just to get to tackle 6 and then get a good kick on it. Someone's got to settle down first here.
Roy scored in the opening 2 minutes. And for Taylor, slips on the cricket pitch. Soden, Vic Trindle.
He's a little bit out of sorts, Jason Taylor. He hasn't recovered from that knock early in the game.
Aiken, the right boot. This could be a good kick. It sits up for the Bears. Petherbridge there in numbers, and Raper, thinking it was going to go dead, it just sat up and teased him.
Yeah, this is the 3rd time in the game that the ball hasn't bounced right for St George. Now, watch Dean Raper down here. You can hear the North Sydney players coming. Get over the sideline, get over the sideline, get over the sideline. Oh no, he's got to pick it up. He's surrounded. The ball just wouldn't go dead for him.
Big set of 6 coming up here for the Bears. Ainscough, the left boot. It's a good kick into the breeze. Sits up for Soden. Former halfback. Can't get away from Corey Pearson. David Fairley. Back for Aiken. Roy for Billy Moore.
Great defence by Mark Coyne there. He read that switch of play and came up quickly and cut it off. It was going to be danger if he didn't make that play.
Swindle with the go forward. The crowd now get behind the Bears. Short side play by Soden. Pops it back for Moore. Muir. Taylor. Run around. Fairley. Now back for Matt Sears. Florimo. So close. So strong. Over he goes. Greg Florimo levels the scores here at Bear Park.
Greg Florimo reminds me of one of those surfers in the pipeline. You lose him for a while in the water and all of a sudden they shoot out the other end. How often have we seen this? A good play from North Sydney. The run around brings the St George defence up. A decoy from Iken. Sears gives Florimo space. Two defenders all over him. Yep, he comes out the other side. We've seen that so often from Greg Florimo. Very, very strong. Particularly hard to stop in scoring opportunities. And the nice thing I liked about North Sydney was they set up for a set play run around. Soden ran the short side and got it back on a second phase, but they ran with their original call. Soden goes to short side here when there was a set play to the open side of the field. Now he squeezes the ball out the back. The ball goes from Moore across to Muir Taylor. Let's run with the set play we were going to put on. Run around with Fairley, second man play, create space on the outside. Sears for Florimo, didn't give it to the young fellow, said I'll do this myself. You can wait till next time. And Florimo scores the try that levels the score. And Taylor with the opportunity to put the ball in front. I don't think Taylor's recovered from that early knock. Let's see if he can concentrate to get this off the mound and through the post.
Florimo limping after scoring that try, and now Taylor. We've had the perfect record until today. 10 from 10. And he's not too happy with the way that ball has been placed on the mound.
He's struggling for concentration, and this happens when you've got a little bit of concussion. Now, like a good golfer there, he wasn't happy, so he stopped it and goes back and starts again. You can see the concentration on his face, but he's probably dealing with a little bit of blurred vision and a little bit of concussion, and he's really concentrating. He knows this is an important kick.
And he hooks this one badly, does Taylor, so none from two today. And the scoreline, 8 points all, Mario. What a good game.
Yeah, unusual to see Taylor miss an easy shot like that. But set play, like Gus said, Sears very quick. But this tackle here, Ainsco's been in fine form, but you just can't miss tackles like that. Florimo very strong up top, flexes Ainsco off and goes in for the leveller. But Ainsco, he's been in outstanding form, but I'm sure he'd like to forget that miss.
See Greg Florimo there on camera, grimacing a little bit with the pain. The fella's alluding to the fact that he is limping. He limps every day of his life. You don't play 200 first-grade games without having a few bumps and bruises. And a bit of pain won't stop Greg Florimo.
His 13th season at Bear Park for Greg Florimo. And he admits to being 30. Fairly. 32 metres out from his own line. Billy Moore runs straight into that shoulder of Corey Pearson. 8 points all. Soden. Goes now, takes it to the line. Taylor decides to run it. Buettner uses his speed around Mundine. Mundine comes again and ends up with the ball. It was a try-saving play. And now Brunker away from two. Florimo gets him.
Well, we've got a North Sydney player injured down in the background. Looks like Billy Moore. It might be Ben Iken who chased after Mundine there, feeling a shoulder badly, and he's been hustled out the back. North Sydney will have a replacement ready for him. Yes, in fact, they're waving. He's no good. North Sydney down to 12 men at the moment. Wade Horder getting off the bench to come onto the field, but they're short down this right-hand side.
He has to get on there quickly. Loose ball on the far side. Mark Coyne and St George retain possession. Ward. Trindle makes the tackle over the top. And Jeff Hardy at dummy half, last tackle. Brown kicking to Horder's wing again. Bounces, finds touch.
Some players in this game are very, very alert. And Nathan Brown took a little peek over the shoulder and saw that Wade Horder had come on the field. He wouldn't know why. He wouldn't know yet that Ben Iken is off. As soon as he saw Wade Horder, the game plan kicks in, put it in the air, and let's test the young fellow. I've got him for 2 tries. Let's keep him moving. Here we see the bust on 5th tackle. Taylor gets a long ball out to Buettner, who turns Mundine inside out. Now, Mundine doesn't give up on the chase. Buettner does very well, throws the ball back on the inside, but Mundine, although beaten the first time, was able to get back and make the play.
That's where Icon was injured. He was the man backing up on the inside of Buettner. And he came into this game with a bad cork to his knee, and now he's on the bench.
Seen down there on the sideline, they seem to be working on the fingers. I'd say he's dislocated the finger in dragging Mundine down with one hand. I doubt it's a shoulder. They're working on his wrist and hand.
Ward makes the tackle over the top. Up over the halfway line now, the Bears. That's the sort of charge they needed from Trindle. They put it to the boot, and that has found touch only by centimetres, and Soden copped a nasty knock.
Yeah, well, let's get this one on the replay. See, out from dummy half here, Soden likes to kick down the right-hand side of the field from that position. Ball comes down on the sideline. Woo!
Just in, Mario.
I've got a report on Icon. Very astute by Phil Gould. It is a hand injury. They're just trying to tape him up now. He's in a lot of pain. I don't know whether he's broken a bone or not, but they're working feverishly on him. He's hopeful that he might return in a few minutes, but he's grimacing with pain as I look at him.
Brown comes over slowly, so
Hold it still.
he's now to feed the scrum is Nathan Brown, the original hooker. And it comes out for Bronca.
So we saw 3 tries scored in the first 10 minutes of this game, and since that time both sides have settled down and said, well, we can't keep going like this. We've only had the 1 try since then to North Sydney at 8 all. I think both sides have made a conscious effort. They're going to grind this one out. Now, if they do, you would have to fancy North Sydney with Jason Taylor. Field goals and his goal kicking could prove the difference. St George are going to have to score tries to win.
Jeff Hardy plays it back for Brown. Inside ball, Ward. Quick hands, Mundine. Crunched in the tackle over the top by Muir. Brown, whose kicking game today has been superb. Apart from this one, straight down the throat of Matt Sears. Sears is so quick, so elusive. Looking for a bit of open space. Now to Roy. Stepping off the right boot. In fact, it was Horder. Now Petherbridge. Fairly. This is Roy. Can't get on the outside of his man.
He had a little check there if he had the speed, and then said, no, you've got me, I'll come back inside.
Cut out ball for Buettner. Decoy runner, now Muir. Muir back for Horder. Taken just 10 metres short, 20 metres short of the try line. Final tackle now. Will they go to the air? Buettner, Taylor. They'll run the ball. Fairly, quick hands, Moore. Little kick by Roy. Taken by Lee Murphy on the far side.
And it's just as well Petherbridge kept his wits about him there. He went to chase after that kick. The St George player took a slips catch. And had Petherbridge continued on his way without concentrating on defence, it could well have been a try at the other end of the field.
Dr. Mario Fennick on the sideline.
Just back to Ben Icon, suspected broken thumb. So that's a bit of a worry for the young bloke, but I don't know if he'll return.
Thompson up over the advantage line.
All the way back.
It's incredible, this game of football. Ben Icon backing up down the middle of the field 5 minutes ago. Thought for sure he was going to score a try under the post. Now he's sitting on the sideline with a broken thumb. It's amazing how things change for you.
Short side play. Mundine kicks out of dummy half. That is a very, very good kick. Sears has played at it. I thought he might have taken it to it. I thought he played at it. He mustn't have got a hand to it.
He's coming down here again, the ball rolling, not going quickly enough. I think he falls over. He does fall over and managed not to get a hand on it. Now he's got to get up and wish it dead. Yeah, wish it does.
And in there.
Great call from the linesman.
Just one short roll that was. On the line, he's out. That dead ball line. And that's a great kick by the Bears. There's Icon with a broken thumb.
Great opportunity here from the Bears. They've got to realise that the next points could well win this game, even though we're 20 minutes out from half-time.
Corey Pearson picked out Gary Larson. Florimo on the left-hand side. Petherbridge. Nigel Roy. They've got a backline set. It'll come through the hands of Buettner. Taylor. Back on the inside for Lacey. Josh Stewart, in fact. Switch of play by Taylor. Buettner. Cut out ball. Roy. Petherbridge went without it. Shears picks it up. Buettner again. Takes on the line. Last tackle. Slow play the ball. Florimo. Taylor to the line for Billy Moore. Nowhere to pop it. And they go to ground. Turnover.
Good defence by St George. I'd like to see a replay over in the far corner. I thought Petherbridge looked certain to score. Came back on the inside instead of staying outside. Had he stayed outside, I'm sure he'd have got up a 4-pointer. But St George scrambled well. They realised that that was a desperate set of 6 for them. Chance to work it out again and wait for their opportunity.
Thompson. 8 points all the scoreline. Corey Pearson running with that left forearm, a touch high. Lance Thompson. Punched in the tackle there by Josh Stewart and Larson. Final tackle again. We'll go back for Brown. He'll kick to Horder, no doubt about it. This one off the side of the boot. And he allows it to go over the sideline.
They've certainly got him nervous back there, haven't they? He won't attack the football at all. Nathan Brown quickly picking him out again. I can't remember the last time St George had an attacking set of 6 down North Sydney's end. Maybe in the last 15 minutes of the first half, they were starved of possession at that end of the field. But they're being very patient. Their defence is holding in. They're waiting for their opportunity. It will come if they hang in there long enough. And we get down to the final 22 minutes of the game. A drop ball, a missed tackle, a missed call, a great play. This is when the key players have got to come into their own.
It's tight, Mario. Very tight.
Yeah, I know it's a pretty often used cliche, but the game's turning into an arm wrestle now. Both sides desperately trying to get on top. 8 all. North Sydney sending me on a roll now. Rebay out of dummy half.
They drop back to this play often, North Sydney. Darts from dummy half often gets them back into the game. Reba on that occasion, but they don't count on mistakes like that.
And it might be the one that St George were looking for too. It's been North making all the running, but St George, by virtue of their defence, have kept themselves in this contest. They only need a penalty or a missed tackle from the Bears now, and all that hard work will be worthwhile.
Wagon. Finds Brown. It's Filch on the outside, a touch high, and now the momentum starts to go the way of St George.
They've just hung in very well here. As we see Luke Phelps knock up the ball, Adam Muir gets him a little high up there. Nothing malicious about it, but certainly too high for the referee. Now, St George have got to have a committee meeting. Have we got a player who can kick it this far? I don't think so. Mark Coyne is saying, let's get it out over the sideline. In fact, they're not even going to kick for touch. They're just going to knock the ball forward with Phelps again. He said, geez, I just got hit in the head. Do I have to do this?
He's a tough young man. Brown. Dean just drifts away there to the blind side. Great ball out the back from Pearson. Wagon.
North Sydney look a little bewildered. They've had plenty of opportunities. Now they're on their own line defending the game right here.
Mundine. Simpson. Mundine from dummy half. Brown. Inside ball, Wagon. Looking for try number 3. 5 metres out from the try line. Nice pass. Mundine, short ball. Hardy, quick play the ball. Did he get to his feet? Coyne. Bundled out of his hands. Still the final tackle. And Jamie Ainscough with a field goal. Or should I say a field goal attempt.
Well, I guess it was worth the opportunity. Still 20 minutes to go in the game. St George really bungled up their 5th tackle option there. A lot of mistakes. A yard out from the line to play the ball. And now Norths get the opportunity to work away it again.
Both teams have defended well. In the last 2 sets of 6, Muir. And now Adam Muir pots a beauty out the back for Billy Moore.
He'll never die wondering, Adam Muir. If he can get a finger free, he'll knock the ball on. He loves to unload the football.
Taylor, Sears, Butner around the first man. Stands in the tackle but can't offload. Florima. Tuplation, Taylor, Muir. Adam Muir. Inside ball now for Lation. Lation, the ball knocked down. Reba was over if he could get the ball. And he was over under the sticks.
Absolutely incredible. Adam Muir loves the inside pass. He got Lation into position. And there it is, Darren Tracy coming back. Was able to put the ball down. Otherwise, Reba was in underneath the post. They look far more dangerous, North Sydney, but again, St George defensively scrambling have denied them and keep themselves in the game.
Only Hearn back on the path. Mundine. Inside ball. Simpson. Robbie Simpson. Can't get around Matt Sears. Great tackle. Could have been a try saver. Last tackle. Mundine. Throws the ball to no one. Branca wasn't ready. Mundine was.
That was the 5th tackle option. Mundine elected to take it on himself down the short side. North Sydney getting a little frustrated in the fact they can't get over the line. Didn't measure up in defence. Gary Larson, an uncommon miss. We see here Simpson down the right-hand side. Now this, down the left-hand side rather, from that play the ball, Mundine came up with a mistake over the sideline. And St George have backed it up by conceding a penalty. 17 minutes to go. Yeah, legitimate penalty there. Luke Felsh holding down Wade Horder in the play the ball. They're doing a good job, St George. I don't think they've played as well as North Sydney. I think North Sydney have looked more dangerous with the ball, but their scrambling defence is keeping them in the contest.
Here goes Lation. Now Mark Reba. He'll give them some pace around dummy half. For Taylor. Back on the inside. Lation again. Pops the ball out the back. Taylor. Fairly. Short ball this time for Florima. Taylor again. Keeping the ball alive for Lation. Lation to Sears. Sears back for Josh Stewart. They are slowly but surely getting on top. Now the crowd starts. Taylor. Fairly. Only 2 metres out.
Will Taylor take the field goal or the bomb?
Final tackle. It's back for Taylor. The pass was a bad one. The bomb is a good one. For the far side. Out the back. Goes to ground. Take the bridge. The ball went forward. Did it? Simpkins thinks it did. And it did.
No risk, the ball went forward there. Great work from Jeff Hardy to put the pressure on Taylor. I'm sure he was thinking field goal. It rushed him into a bomb. Taken there over the right-hand side there by Nigel Roy. Tipped on to Horder, then tipped it across to Petherbridge. No try. Now it looks as though St George have come up with a mistake, have they? And the Bears have a scrum feed 10 metres out from the St George line. Great hit by Nigel Roy.
Oh,
unlucky for Butner. Had he caught that, he was over for sure. But they still get the opportunity here. Attacking scrum feed 10 metres out from the line. It's all the Bears at the moment, but they just can't get the ball across the line.
We're going to see a scrum repack. Taylor to Matt Sears. Sears has tried desperately hard to stay involved in this game.
This game's so close, I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor thinks field goal if they can't get across the line here in the first 4 or 5 tackles.
Billy Moore, big play the ball. Larson with the charge. 2 metres out. Now we've got Mark Reba at dummy half. Taylor on the left-hand side. Florimo. Loose ball. Fairly did well to hang on to it. They were up very quickly. Petherbridge. Won't die with the ball. Taylor again. Sears. Call for it. Billy Moore. Short ball. Chance in the corner. Yes! Horder. He replies over the top and he breaks the deadlock. We're going to the video.
Well, on first look, I don't think we need the video here. I think Wade Horder has made up for a very frustrating afternoon with a try that's going to put the Bears in front. The video ref today is Doug Winton. Sears on the outside here now to Billy Moore. They didn't have any room to work with. Horder, inches from the line. Brunker goes too high. He stays in. He reaches out. There's no one on him. Try to Wade Horder.
He's second for the season, and Wade Horder replies. He's been under pressure for the entire game. And this is good work by Sears. Held the pass up. Billy Moore, quick hands. Brunker went over the top. Horder struggled. He got to the try line.
Yeah, I don't think there's any risk here. He's got this ball down on the line. No hint of a double movement. He's not held there. He reaches. Bang. No problem. No problem there. That's a try to Wade Horder for sure. Everyone anxiously looking. If I was the North Sydney players, I'd be back on halfway.
They're heading that way. Green a try. Red no try. And there's the green line. The crowd celebrate. And referee Simpkins gives it. 12 points to 8. The deadlock has been broken. And Wade Horder, you can afford to smile.
He's had a very frustrating afternoon. St George have targeted him with a high ball. They've got 2 tries from there. I'll tell you what, Jason Taylor, the fog is starting to clear with him. His last 10 minutes has been excellent. He's really wheeled this team around the paddock, made it hard for St George, who have been excellent with their scrambling defence. But this time, this is the second time on this left-hand side of the field they've been guilty of going a little too high. Brunker too high over the top. Horder stays low, reaches out, gets it down. It's a game of inches.
Jason Taylor suffered a bad head knock in the first half. Now with a chance to put the Bears some 6 points clear.
I don't know how you can concentrate in amongst all those cheerleaders. They've got to move back and give him a bit of room.
He's probably used to it.
Jason Taylor.
Big chance here.
Again concentrates. He's a little bit clearer in the head, I think, this time. His recent football's been good. How's that?
This one hooking back, but hooking across the face of the goal. Mario, 12 points to 8.
Yeah, it's been an arm wrestle, as I said before. Wade Horder, there's Petherbridge there. This offload here, critical. They move the ball wide, they've attacked this left side. Nice pass there. Sears does well. Billy Moore reads the play well, offload there, and that tackle there by Brunker had to be made. Horder finally gets his own back with a try in the corner. That could be the try that maybe gives North Sydney victory. They're coming home, the Bears.
2 tries in the last 2 weeks for Wade Horder. Only 19 years of age now. Plenty of time left in this game for St George.
But the thing mentally for St George is they knew they had to score another try to win the game. Nothing has really changed for them. They've got to keep hanging in there in defence. There's only 12 minutes left on the clock. They've got to wait for their opportunity. They don't want to let North Sydney get their tails off and start dropping up tackles because they can hurt you again. Nothing has changed for St George. They need to try to win.
Josh Stewart. Now Muir. Takes on Mundine. Hardy around the legs. Final tackle. Taylor, the kick in behind the line. The chase, Butner streaming through. Raker eventually gets it.
For North Sydney, the equation becomes simple now on 5th tackle. They know they've just got to get the ball to the other end of the field. Jason Taylor realising there that what they want is field position and make St George keep coming off their line. Great chase by the Bears. Dean Raper's had some real pressure takes back there today.
Some tough bounces. Ward, good offload. Mundine held the ball up to Hardy.
He's been well contained again today by the North Sydney players. Looks a little bit on edge to me, Mundine.
11 minutes to go. Brown to the line. The kick by Wagon. Horder playing with confidence now.
Well, that makes a difference, doesn't it? He didn't want anything to do with the ball when it was rolled to him earlier on. A try in the corner, putting his side in front. Everything's easy now. Lean out over the sideline, bring him back into play. Matt Sears.
So close to being through. The ball to Noah. Nigel Roy heads back to the centre of the park. He wishes he didn't. Colin Ward got it.
Yeah, they've got to stay positive, North Sydney. They can't close this game up too early. They can't protect the lead. Otherwise, they'll invite St George back into the last 10 minutes of the game.
Taylor. Big ball.
That's
straight to Pepperbridge. Mundine's out there. Can't get around Mundine. Taylor to the line. Good kick by Taylor. He's put a good chase on it. And Wafer again. No fault of his. But he did extremely well to control the ball.
That wasn't a good kick by Jason Taylor. That is the kick of a champion. Jason Taylor, one of the best club players over the last 8 or 9 years that you can find. Such a valuable person, not only with his goal kicking and his organising, but he can always come up with a good play at a vital time. And that's what makes him such a great player. He was had concussion earlier in the game. He's fought his way back, got his thinking clear, and his last 10 or 15 minutes for North has been absolutely outstanding.
Larson. Get around Thompson. Inside the final 10 minutes now. 4-point ball game. Nigel Roy. Pops one out the back for Pepperbridge. Away from 2 to Stewart. Butner. Florimo. Quick hands for Horner. Horner gets try number 2. Has he come back into the game? Yes, he has. So Wade Horner picks up a double. And now the Bears, they lead by 8.
Oh, and aren't they happy for the young fella? It was looking like a miserable afternoon for Wade Horner. But he'll be first to the bar for a shout tonight. Look at this beautiful play by Butner. That's the ball out to Florimo. Experience says get it to the young fellow early this time. And Wade Horner. It's amazing what great players can do to a defence line. Now, last time Florimo had the opportunity, he threw the dummy, took the pressure off the young fellow and scored the try himself. This time, he had the defence in 2 minds. Both Ainscough and Brunko are thinking, well, will Florimo go himself? No, they stayed on Florimo, just gave the young fella that little half a yard more space. And that's what good players can do. They keep a defence guessing. And Wade Horner's playing outside a very experienced player in Greg Florimo.
Horder with a double smile now. Horder, a very famous name in North Sydney territory. Great Harold Horder and Jason Taylor. You don't see it very often. None from 3. Can he change it? Once again, hooking across the face of the goal. They lead by 16 points to 8. I think the Bears are home, Mario.
Yeah, mate, they're home. They look like the Bears. There's a run there. That offload there has to be stopped. There are offloads everywhere here. There's Petherbridge. Now the ball is in the danger zone. That pass there is an absolute beauty. Right on the chest of Florimo, as Gus said. Read it perfectly. Horner does very well to step inside and step outside. Gets around Ainscough. And he's square on the ledger now, Horner. He's conceded 2 and he scored 2.
He had a bit of work to do as well. Wade Horder on that occasion.
He did, but I've got to keep coming back to Florimo. I mean, he was playing without confidence early. Florimo took the first opportunity himself. This time it kept the St George players in 2 minds, and that created the space. But he knew the young fella was ready for it this time, and he was able to put it down.
Taylor, who's done remarkably well to come back from that head knock. Petherbridge.
This fella's done well, Petherbridge too. Some vital offloads and some good runs at important times.
Willie Moore, up over the halfway line he goes. Taken to ground by Hardy. Reba and Josh Stewart. Stewart, that ball went backwards.
It's amazing, isn't it? As soon as Reba's on the field, these forwards want to throw it back out the back. They don't care if it hits the ground, they know he's dangerous.
Inside ball from Muir. Refuses to die with the ball. Forced to on this occasion. Taylor. They allow him to run to the line. He takes them on. Could play the ball. Final tackle. Butner. Butner. Inside ball from Matt Sears. And the Bears are coming home with a flurry now.
Yeah, the spirit of St George has been broken here. They held in for so long, but once the game has got beyond their reach, they've opened up, and the things they were doing so well earlier. This time Butner on the last tackle shaped a kick, Back on the inside with some lazy and tired defenders, and Matt Sears backing up as he has done all day, reaps a reward with what will be a 6-pointer. I think Jason Taylor will kick this goal. Butner very, very sharp off that right foot, good speed, and Matt Sears excellent support play, exactly what you want from your fullback. And the Bears, once they've got their opportunity, they've taken it now. This will be 22 points to 8. Still 6 minutes left on the clock, and St George, despite a pretty good defensive effort today, just haven't had the attacking artillery to match it with North Sydney when it counted.
0 from 4. Taylor, and the Bears have had all the possession in the last 15 minutes of this game.
A lot of it brought about by their own good play. A couple of line dropouts and some pressure on them in the play. The Bulls has drawn some penalties. You know, St George, they've tackled well. They've just lacked a little bit of cohesion with their offense, and basically they've been outscored by a better attacking side.
And make it 22-8. Through it goes. And Taylor gets his first goal for the afternoon, Mario Fenech. And I think he doesn't have to wait this long most days, does he?
Well, North Sydney have broken St George's spirit there. Butner very elusive on his feet, and that pass there inside to Sears, who's an absolute pocket rocket, scores 22 points out the Bears, but it hasn't been that easy for North Sydney. St George, to their credit, as we see Nathan Brown dive on the ball, he's been their best, but North Sydney, another 2 points.
And that happened in slow motion. And there you have it. Pepperbridge, good tackle on the far side on Wagon. Can they put on a try? Tony Hearn hit over the top in a beauty. Luke Felch. Ainscough goes to the right. They come to the left through Brown. A little tip by Brown. Well read.
Here's the kick-off here from St George. Nathan Brown, he tried a short one earlier. This time he grubber kicks for himself. The ball doesn't look like it's ever going to go 10 metres. Dribble, dribble, dribble. That's mine, that's mine. Got on the line and he said that's good enough.
Only 2 points to 8. Draw. Reeves a dummy half. In fact, he backs away from there. Porter, who scored 2 tries. Attacking 5 short of the halfway. Taylor, loose ball. Butner loses it backwards for Sears. Tries to flick it out the back. Sloppy play. Tracy eventually falls on it. Branca. Must have been 3. 3 minutes to go. Penalty, holding down.
Come straight, come to the mark, come up.
Tony Hearn. Back to Ainscough. Using that step out the back. Simpson. Mundine with the speed. They've got numbers on the right-hand side if they move it quickly. Now they've numbered up the Bears. Back for Hearn. Simpson. No one to give it to. Dean Raker wants it on the left-hand side. Hardy. To the centre. Ainscough. Thompson. Round his man. Can't get around the second. Offload to Hardy. It went forward.
St George play a very flat style of attacking football. They just flick the ball onto the player near them, looking for little holes in and around the rucks and on the edges. And North Sydney, for the most part of the day, have bottled it up pretty well. I think you can count on one hand the number of line breaks. And as the game's worn on, they've been able to force some errors from the St George side. You can see 12 handling errors there to St George, mainly because of the type of football they're playing in the line. North Sydney have fanned the ball a lot wider with a lot more speed. Come up with 5 really good tries today. Both St George tries were from kicks.
5 tries to 2. Over Fairley. Moves it to Taylor. This is Lation. Petherbridge, under plenty of pressure, took it well. Muir, it's the halfway line. He's tackled right on.
They're looking more and more comfortable in the Bears outfit now, Adam Muir. He's starting to get them to come to him a little bit more. He forced the play a little bit in round one, but in the 2 games since, it looks as though he's more and more comfortable with this North Sydney pack.
Final tackle. Tail of a little kick. Here goes Horder. Wade Horder has taken it, and he'll get the hat-trick, the youngster. 19 years of age. He picks up 3 try. This has been a big comeback.
Well, now he's in front. He drew level, and that put the Bears in front, but just in the final moments of the game, as he did last week against the Roosters, very enthusiastic, chases hard. I've watched this fella in the lower grades for a few years. Enthusiasm is his real key, and nothing was going to turn him around today, even though he got off to a rough start. And Jason Taylor, hasn't this bloke had a game? He was knocked out in the first 15 minutes of the game, had to leave the field with concussion. Puts one through there for Wade Horder, and the young fella, he can go home and tell Mum that's 3-2.
The bounce was a beauty for Horder. Flomo backing up. He needed no help. And in the end, this has been a comprehensive victory. 1 from 5. Better make it 2 from 6. The flags go up. Jason Taylor celebrates his 100th consecutive game for the Bears with a victory. 28 points to 8. 6 tries to 2 in the end, and it was so close for so long.
Yeah, it was. In the end, I think the better attacking side won the game. Jason Taylor going to the line here, a beautifully weighted little kick. Here's a player who spends 2 hours a day, every day of his life, in the park with footballs, kicking goals, kicking field goals, and those little deft grubber kicks. Some of his kicks today, which pinned St George in for line dropouts, were the crucial turning points of the game. The possession build up on St George, who had to do a monumental amount of defence. And Jason Taylor, such a valuable asset to this Bears outfit. And after losing narrowly to last year's premiers in round 1, they put back-to-back wins against the Roosters and St George. And 2 from 3 in this competition at the moment represents a pretty good start.
Does Nathan Brown, who tried so hard for St George. And the bounce of the ball not going their way today. Luke Belcher came off the bench. Once again, they leave Bear Park disappointed. Thoroughly beaten, this time by 20 points. In the last few years, Bear Park has brought no joy for St George. We go sideline, let's go to Mario Fenech with Nathan Brown.
I've got Nathan Brown here. Nathan, an unbelievable game. Scoreboard 28 points to 8, but it was a lot closer than that.
Yeah, until the sort of the 70th minute, we were sort of probably maybe even we looked as good as them for sure, but they come up with one forced error and then they scored and then they got on a bit of a roll.
Well, they had a pretty good start of the game. They scored after about a minute and a half, but you managed to recover and scored 2 tries on that left wing of Wayne Horder.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good side this year. We're going to go a lot better than what everyone thinks. I mean, we had a bit of a mishap today, but previous years when they scored in the first minute, they won by 40 and 50, so we can hold our head up and hopefully Matty Robb will be right and we'll be able to get back on the good flow of things again. Well,
you had your chances too. We saw you make the break and chip over the top for young Mundine. The ball seemed to sit up there and he just couldn't pick it up.
Yeah, that's probably a big turning point in the game. I mean, if we could have went in up 14-4, when they got back late in the game, maybe we could have lifted. I think it was probably a big turning point, I'd say.
And what about North Sydney? They came home very strong. You tried to hold on, but a lot of strike power out wide. Players like Florimo, Sears, very quick.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good players, North, you know, and they probably start the year better than any other team in the comp. Even though they had a loss against Newcastle, they probably could have won that game at the last pass from Australia. So they always, for some reason, they start great at the start of the year, and I'm sure they'll be there at the end of the year. The fact we stuck with them, I think, we're pretty confident we'll be there too.
Well, you'll take heart from today. Good luck.
No, thanks, Mario.
Nathan Brown, who tried his heart out for St George today, but really, the final scoreline, 28 points to 8. And they scored 6 tries to 2. There was no better player on the field than Jason Taylor, and now Mario Fenech with our Harvey Norman NEC Player of the Day.
Yes, there he is, Harvey Norman, courtesy of NEC Player of the Match. Jason Taylor, your 100th first grade game consecutively for North Sydney. I tell you what, mate, tough one.
Yeah, it was. That was a very tough game. The game that St George had against Cronulla last week was very similar. In the first half, the heat, we've been pretty lucky in our first 2 games. Our first game here against Newcastle, the heat wasn't too bad, and then we had a Friday night game last week, and I'll tell you that the heat today really made it tough for us at half-time, and 10 minutes before half-time, we were really struggling, no doubt about it.
Well, let's go back earlier. You had a pretty good start to the game, and Phil Gould called it. He said, well, often when you score early, you can sit back on your laurels. We saw St George playing the ball quick, and you seemed to relax a little bit.
Yeah, as you know, Mario, it's very important early in the game to really set a base with your forwards and really get them going forward and playing the ball quickly. When you score a try in the first set of 6 like we did, it's easy to think, well, we're just going to go on with the game now and win it, and you don't go back and set that base, and that was what we did, and it took us another 30 minutes really to get back into our game, and we probably didn't get back going as well as we can until about 15 minutes into the second half.
The last couple of times you've played them here, St George, you've touched them up. Today was a different story. They're a lot more competitive with Mundine. Nathan Brown played very well.
Yeah, when you do that to a team a couple of times, they're going to come to your ground next time knowing that they're in for a game, and I'm sure they prepared really hard for this. If a team embarrasses you like we did to them a couple of times over the last couple of years, you're not going to go back there and let them do it again. So we're ready for a very tough game today.
Mate, you're the Harvey Norman NEC man of the match, courtesy of myself.
Thanks, Mario.
Well done, mate. There he is, Terry. A very happy captain, Jason Taylor. 100 consecutive games in first grade. Great player.
Thanks very much, Mario Fenech. You are a good judge.